Hello, welcome. If you don't know who I am or don't recognize this face, my name is Annalicia, and on this YouTube channel, I go by Love in Motion. Typically on this channel, I like to talk about self-awareness, self-growth, self-actualization, and self-empowerment. Today is absolutely no different, so let's get into it, yeah. I am extra unhinged today, and this is going to be an extra soliloquy. I have been going through who knows what. I blew up my life. Yes, in fact, I did. I quit my job. I moved back to Arizona. I canceled the whole California live-in girl thing. And I had a huge blow up with this man that I've been kind of in love with. And then I have been looking for new jobs, and I just feel like a bum times 12. I binge watched 3 seasons of a show called My Brilliant Friend, and that has been the highlight of my month. I have been unemployed for almost a month now, which is crazy because I feel like I have not been doing anything. But I guess in that time, I did set up this beautiful wall for you guys, which is full of beautiful women contemplating life. And if you guys recognize this painting here, this is Frida Kahlo. And this is her self-portrait, and it's called La Calma Rota. Basically, it's the broken spine, some shit like that. But yeah, that's that. This is an angel. 7 angels were like off. Oh my god. You guys, as I'm recording this, a job just got back to me. So I will definitely check in on that. But right now, we're going to totally yap, and we're going to have a yap fest because I need to talk. I need to talk, and I need it to be alone because I'm going out of my mind. I don't know who I am, what I am, where I am. Just kidding. But I have been feeling like out of sorts. Like I'm going stir crazy. Clearly, can you hear my voice? It's like a vocal fry in it. I don't know. But anyways, I'm like wanting to do so much, and I end up doing nothing. I literally lay in my bed majority of the day. That's really what I do, and I sit on my phone. And like, I don't know if it's decompression from the insane 6 months that I just had, because if you guys have been watching my YouTube channel, and if you haven't, that's fine. You can go check them out if you're interested. But basically, I became a flight attendant, and I got based in San Diego when I lived in Phoenix. And so through that process, I was staying with a friend, I was staying in my car, I was doing the most to keep that job. And I wasn't really even getting paid like as much as I feel like I should have been paid. But yeah, I blew up my life. I decided I was going to move to San Diego because I couldn't continue commuting. My back was killing me because I was sleeping on floors and couches and a blow-up mattress that literally never stayed blowed up. So my back literally was in pain 24/7. And I decided, okay, I'm going to move to San Diego, and I thought that was the right choice that I was making. I had been commuting for about 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, and then I got an apartment room for a month, and I was staying there while I was working. And then all my stuff was still in Phoenix, but I was packed up, ready to move it. I needed to find something long-term for the month of August, and I found something. I went there, I looked at the apartment, but I didn't look in the actual room because their roommate still hadn't moved out. And for some reason, I didn't notice some red flags. Firstly, once I packed up my stuff and started moving into this new place, it smelled horrible. And then I get into the room, and it's disgusting. When I tell you it's disgusting, it is disgusting. Like the floor, I literally cleaned for like 5 hours. It was so gross. like the person who was living in there before, I guess, was like in the military, and he just was not clean, and I guess he never came out of his room. And then the kitchen was gross, like there was stuff in the sink. When I tell you, I just could not imagine myself living there for any amount of time. I was terrified. And then I had a situation arise, which I'm going to tell you the honest, full truth, but whatever. I basically went on a yacht because I was stressed out and I wanted to hang out. I literally stopped having a life. So I went on a yacht with my friend, and I got way too intoxicated because I hadn't eaten anything that day because I worked earlier in the day. And then I came to this event, which started at like 2 o'clock. And I was planning to be gone by at least 8 p.m. because I worked the next morning. And things did not happen that way. Some people think that I may have been dosed. I'm just going to say that because I don't know what I can say in here. I don't know if that's true, but I woke up, I had bruises all over my body. My friend said that I was throwing up. It was just a really bad time. I woke up in the morning and I was still like not okay. And yeah, I called into work, and my job you can't call into. That job you couldn't. And so I did get a doctor's note because I was throwing up bile. Like, it was really bad. Like, it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. And like, that is on me, right? That was irresponsible of me, and I know that. I know that was irresponsible. I shouldn't have, been out and doing what I was doing, but I was stressed out, and I felt like in that job I was sacrificing my whole life. I liked California. I thought it was cool, but I missed Arizona. I didn't want to leave, and you could see that if you watch any of my videos, even the one prior to this video. I was crying on the floor because every time I started to pack up and leave, I would hyperventilate and have a panic attack. So that happened. I got a doctor's note, and they didn't accept my doctor's note. And so I was waiting to talk with somebody about the situation so that I could hopefully keep my job. But at that point, I had gotten a 4-day thing on my schedule, and I didn't know if they were going to fire me or not. And I didn't want to pay for this place that I didn't even want to be at because, remember, it's disgusting. And I just had to make a decision there because I wasn't going to spend $1,000 plus to be in this place when I didn't know if I was going to keep my job, and then I would be homeless, you know what I'm saying? So I made the decision. I called, my mom, my friends, and they were like, well, we don't really know why you kept this job. You're completely miserable. You call us all the time. You're upset all the time. Like, you're stressed out to the maximum. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm sacrificing so much being at this job. And while I liked the job itself, I liked like working on the actual aircraft. Everything surrounding it was just horrible. It was a scary experience. And, once I quit, I packed up everything that I had just moved into that apartment in 20 minutes. And I was gone that night. I left that night back to Arizona. I didn't get back to Arizona until 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it was that serious to me, but I couldn't stay there any longer, and I just feel so indifferent about it right now because when it happened, I knew I made the right choice because I was relieved, and I knew that that's what I needed to do. But at the same time, now that like a few weeks have passed by, I'm kind of questioning it a little bit because I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I sacrificed so much to get this job. I worked so hard to get that job. Like, it's not an easy job. Like, you have to go into training with 60 other people and stay in a hotel room. And then you basically have to uproot your whole freaking life for this job. Like, I did so much to be there, and I don't regret it. I learned a lot. I feel like I'm a stronger person. I feel like for me, the whole experience feels like exposure therapy. because I've always had like this really weird fear of airports and authority. I think that's where it stems from, is like my issues with authority, because that's something that makes me not feel good about myself, right? Like if I'm not doing something right, there's like this sense of somebody being above me. And I think that this job helped me work through those issues that I have with authority and like not feeling good enough. So I don't regret it. I feel like I also got a lot of cool experiences out of it. I got to travel to a few different places. While I worked for a regional airline, I didn't really go anywhere too awesome. Like, it was a cool job to have. I got to go home twice, using my benefits. So I don't regret it. But these past few weeks, I'm kind of like, well, what would my life have been if I would have stayed? And I feel like I would have been more stable, but I really wouldn't be as relaxed. I think I would have stayed in like that weird mode that I was in. And now I'm in the space where I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, who am I? What am I? Where am I? Like I was saying earlier, like I just don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing, where I'm supposed to be going. The only thing that I feel drawn to is making content. And even that I can't do. I've procrastinated making this video that I've known that I've wanted to make for the past several weeks. And I just couldn't get myself to do it. And I don't know what that's about, if that was me working against myself, or if I just didn't have anything to say, if I was still processing my emotions. I don't know. But all I know is that I'm meant to be heard, and I'm meant to be connected. Like, the only thing that I can think about, like, when I ask myself, like, what is it that you want to do? What do you want to do? Like, how do you want to live your life? All I can think about is I just want connection and genuine connection. I want to feel connected to people, and I want to feel a sense of purpose, a sense of fulfillment through that. And while social media does help me with that, I do have a business. If you guys don't know any background about me, like I do own a business. It's called Renaissance Bitches. I don't know if I can even say that on here, but whatever. And basically what we do is we curate safe, inclusive spaces for people of color in areas of education, recreation, and entrepreneurship. So since I've been in Arizona, I haven't been doing the business here, but they were my business partner and some other people were doing markets back in Wisconsin, where I'm from, and where the business is operated out of, Milwaukee. And so I've been considering doing stuff here, and that's what I do want to do. It's just hard because I'm like, I don't know where to start. I feel like I'm starting again from ground zero, and it's overwhelming. I literally feel like I'm digging, but not really digging. Like, I feel like I'm just supposed to be doing nothing, and so I do nothing. And I don't know that that's good, because obviously I really only have money to pay my next month in rent, and then after that I'm gonna have to figure it out. Like, I need to pay my bills, so like I can no longer do this. And not to mention that I'm going into a new year of my life. My birthday is in literally exactly one week from today, yeah. So I'm turning 28 years old, and I'm just so lost. Like, I'm not even lost. I don't feel lost, to be honest. I don't. I just don't know what to do. I feel like I'm like, all right, I'm here. I'm showing up and I'm posting this content because I really do feel like all roads lead back to this. Even with, my business, I do want that to progress and be amazing and beautiful. Like, all roads lead back to social media, and I don't know how to process that. I don't. If you have watched any of my content, if you know me personally, you know that I'm super spiritual, and I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I truly believe that. And that's why I'm not flailing right now, although I do feel like, what's going on? Who am I? Where am I? What am I? I do feel like I am where I'm supposed to be, but I'm kind of just like waiting for the next shoe to drop. And I keep thinking about like, okay, so what would be another reason for me to have gone through what I just went through? Well, firstly, ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to live in California. You know, you see that on TV, and that's the dream, right? You move to California, and you get this sense of fulfillment from being in this place that's creative and beautiful all year round, and people here just live different, better, cooler lives. Like, I don't know. So I don't know if it was supposed to teach me like everybody everywhere is just people. I don't know if that was part of the lesson, but I'm just in a deep time of reflection. I really hope that this isn't too rambly for y'all. This is my unhinged soliloquy, so please remind yourself that this is what you signed up for when you opened and clicked this video. I also have ADHD, so I have a thought and then I lose it. Which I have just done, because I'm like, what more can I say about the experiences that I just had? Like, the past 6 months literally feel like I was in a time warp, and I just got pulled through it, and now I feel like time has stopped, but it hasn't stopped. Like, everything in me is just like, rest, chill, relax, everything will come to you. And like, I do feel that, but I'm like, oh my god, we're cutting it close now. Like, I need to you know, do something so that I can support myself, and that's where everything always goes back to. And I'm trying not to freak out about it, because it ain't cheap living out here. You know what I mean? It is not cheap to be living out here. Plus, it's about to be my birthday. Like, I would love to, like, maybe do something, but the way that things are working out, I don't really see that happening. I am kind of bummed that I lost my benefits, because that's what I was going to do on my birthday. Well, not on my birthday, but for my birthday. I wanted to go to Hawaii, and that's definitely not on the table right now, unless I can grind. But I'm open to what the universe sends me, but I'm also trying to recognize, like, what do you want, girl? What's important to you? What do you value? And I know we already discussed this about me talking about connection. Everything that I do is for connection. So I'm like, well, how can I feel more connected? What can I be doing? Because the life that I was living as a flight attendant, it wasn't a bad life. Like, I could support myself. You know, I was figuring it out. You know, and I probably could have stayed in that career for a long time. But the universe has another plan for me. And again, all roads lead back to social media. So, like what am I supposed to be doing with the social media? Because only thing that I feel like secure in doing right now is rambling, talking like this, just being real, authentically myself, and saying, like, it's hard out here for a PIMP. You know what I mean? Like, it is difficult. Like, this is me. This girl right here looking out into the stars, contemplating, like, what is going on? That's how I feel. Like, I am these ladies. These are iterations of me. This Miss Girl right here, she put her pain into art. And that's what I feel like I need to be doing right now, is putting all my struggle, my strife into art. Which leads me back to earlier when I said that I had a situation with a man blow up at the same time that I, like, moved back. Basically blew up because I started crying. And he said that I wasn't over my past situations, and that I'm too broken, and that I am broken beyond repair, and I am unstable. But I've never had stability really ever in my life. I mean, yeah, I have. Let me not be dramatic. But I've never lived anywhere more than 2 years. at a time. Like, that's kind of insane. I've been alive for almost 28 years. Never lived anywhere consistently. Uh, that's not weird. Like, most people live in the same childhood home, you know. Then they rent an apartment for like 2, 3, 4, up to 7 years. Like, have relationships that are stable. And I'm not to say that my relationships aren't stable, but like my friendships are. You know, I've had a lot of the same friends for, 5, 10 plus years. So like, I do have stable friendships, but I haven't had like consistent work for the most part. I mean, I do stay at my jobs pretty long, for like 2, 3 years. And my business I've been running for 5, so that is consistent. I am a consistent person, but I'm just saying, like, relationship wise, like, I not really. Also in my like home life, not really. And those are like really important things to me. Like, I curated my safe space in Arizona, and I think that's part of the reason why it was so difficult for me to leave, because I love the space that I cultivated for myself. Like, I've done so much healing here. Like, I had to confront a lot of my childhood issues in this apartment, because it was the first time that I was really away from everything that I've known. And so I had to confront some really, really hard things. And also just confront, like, myself. And this particular person that I got into a relationship, situationship, whatever you want to call it, with, like, he really triggered like the worst parts of me, like the anxious, emotional parts of me. And I do think that I have like PTSD from like my past relationships, and I do think that in a way, like, he was right. Like, I am not a stable person when it comes to relationships, but I also need somebody who is graceful with that and who can communicate with me and have empathy in those situations. And that's something that he just didn't show me in a way that was sustainable. And at the end of the day, it was like we just were not compatible. And that's like a heartbreaking thing to have to like come to when you really have strong feelings for someone and you really want a future with someone. And yeah, I do think that I was I attached to him, which isn't always like healthy, and I have anxious attachment issues, so that's definitely not healthy. And I think he was avoidant, and so obviously, if you know anything about that dynamic, it just was not fun. So life's been beating me up, and I really feel like I'm trying not to think about it that way, like, God showed me a way and gave me a way out of this career that I forced myself into, because I really just forced myself into being a flight attendant because I needed to work, and I was already having such a hard time finding a job and keeping a job here in Arizona, and I needed to sustain my life. I needed a change. I needed a career, because nothing was working out. And so I did it, and it wasn't for me, and I'm grateful for the experience. But I'm like, when am I gonna catch a break? Like, dang, when am I gonna catch a break? But I also don't want to think like that, because it gave me clarity about who I am and where I'm going. And even though I'm feeling like, who am I, what am I, where am I, it did give me something, right? It did serve a purpose, and that purpose was over, and I got it out. I just wish that I could have a little bit more stability in my life, and that's what I'm working towards. But I do feel pretty like calm for the most part, which is cool. It's not something that I typically feel when such major life changes are happening, but I do feel pretty confident in who I am. And if you watch any of the content that I've made, like, I struggle a lot with I guess my self-confidence, my like self, is that your self-esteem? Like, the way I feel about myself. Like, I'm really hard on myself and I expect a lot from myself, and I never want to settle. Like, I want the life that I want, and you know, I make it harder for myself for sure because I have anxiety and depression and all of this stuff, but I'm still fighting for it. I'm still fighting for the life that I want, which I think is very commendable. And I think that's cool because a lot of people would have given up by now. And maybe people would consider me quitting a flight attendant as me giving up, but I feel like that was me choosing myself and, trusting myself too, because that's a big thing to let go of, that stability that I had of having a job. And it's crazy. Life is so crazy. I don't want to keep talking for too long and bore you, and I hope I didn't talk too much in circles, and I hope that there was things in here that could benefit you and that you could connect with, because genuinely that's why I create content, and that's why I am who I am. It's all for connection. It's all to unite us in a way. It's all a path leading me back to that. So I appreciate you so much for coming to my Unhinged Soliloquy. It was a journey, a ride, and hopefully you will be there for the next one.